Welcome to Win the Day from Back to the Bible. I'm your coach, Pastor Nat, and today we're going to talk about the alternatives to Jesus. The grass is not always greener. In fact, if it is greener, it's probably because someone spray painted that dead grass green. The truth is, we look for alternatives in relationships, products, restaurants, ingredients, and even in religion. Would you consider an alternative to Jesus if life became difficult or confusing? That's what we want to talk about today as we continue our study of the book of John. Let's pick it up after Jesus has shared some very hard truths about salvation. Jesus continues his teaching in John chapter 6, beginning in verse 66. After this, many of his disciples turned back and no longer walked with him. So Jesus said to the 12, "Do you want to go away as well?" Simon Peter answered him, "Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life, and we have believed and have come to know that you are the Holy One of God." At the Center for Bible Engagement, we are seeing massive amounts of people walking away from their faith. It's true for the teenagers, all the way to the people in their 60s and 70s. We are trying to understand why. Why are people walking away? But the truth is, this phenomenon is not new. Jesus experienced mass exodus of disciples while he was still alive. At this point in Jesus' life, we see a major shift. His popularity had increased, but now we see very few are actually his followers. So the crowds leave, and here Jesus turns to the 12 and says, "Well, are you guys going to take off too?" Now, he knows that they will not. But Peter, who is usually fine answering for the group, he says, "No way, Jesus. I mean, where else are we to go? Trust me, the grass isn't greener, it's dead with spray paint." You see, he recognizes, though hard and potentially confusing, Jesus' words are eternal life. Jesus is the way to God and heaven. And then in verse 69, Peter calls Jesus the Holy One of God. This is Peter recognizing that Jesus is the Messiah. This is God in the flesh. What Peter is saying is, I am sold on you. No matter what other options come before me, I am sticking with you, Jesus. So what is Jesus' response to such a bold proclamation? Listen to this, beginning in verse 70. Jesus answered them, "Did I not choose you, the 12? And yet one of you is a devil." He spoke of Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot, for he, one of the 12, was going to betray him. Wow, well, that is not exactly the response we were expecting. Jesus is saying, "I chose you to be my apostles. You are my disciples. Yes, all 12 of you, even though one of you is a devil." Some commentators think a better rendering is the devil. The point is that Judas will fulfill what needs to be done. God has ordained this event, and it will occur through Judas at the influence of the devil, yes, Satan himself. Jesus' challenge to the disciples is, are you going to leave too? Well, Peter said, "Lord, look at me. Listen to me. You are God. You are our only hope. Where else will we go?" Today, we all have a choice in the face of great opportunity and obstacles. The culture will tell us, the grass is greener over here. And many people will leave their faith to find emptiness and despair. You know, I took time in my 20s to examine the grass, and I can promise you it was not greener. It was only an illusion that led only to heartache. I decided then and there Jesus is the way to God. Where else could I go? Jesus is asking, are you staying with me? I pray the answer is, Lord, where else would we go?